Sometimes everything goes according to plan. Sometimes they go horribly. Join us while we tell tales of games gone wrong. This is Curmudgeons and Dragons RPG Horror Stories.
Hello, adventurers! Welcome to Curmudgeons and Dragons. My name is Jason Portizo. Today I'm joined by Ms. Josey Diaz.
Well, hello there.
Oh, hello again, Josey.
Yeah, it's like I never left.
It's almost like you never left. It's almost like you've been here the whole time.
I have been here the whole time, even when you don't see me. Again, I think I've said this before. I'm always there.
You're always annoying.
Yeah.
I feel like I said that before too.
I think you'll say something, and in the back of your mind, you hear my little stupid voice whispering the most obnoxious thing you can think of at that moment.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then whoever is across from you just sees your whole face fall and they're like, what? Like, you know how some people have a conscience? That's like a little voice? Mine is not a conscience, it's just an annoyance, and its name is Josey.
Yeah.
That's me?
Yep. They'll just see me randomly get sad all of a sudden. They'll be like, oh, I guess that's how depression works.
And it's like
nope,
no.
Just Josey.
I am the cure to depression.
Sure. We'll go with that.
I said to depression, not to agitation.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Well, this intro got weird. Let's get to a story.
Oh, okay.
All right, fine. All right. Today's story is from Steel Geek 2, the sequel. Way better than Steel Geek 1. Steel Geek 1 was like phoning it in.
Yeah, it was just
3,
mid.
Steel Geek 3, though, got like way off the rails. And they started like...
You have to have that happy medium. Steel Geek 2.
As soon as they throw in like full CGI characters, you know the franchise is over. But Steel
I'm
Geek
tired
2
of
was
them
like
just reviving dead characters with no explanation.
peak Steel Geek number 2.
Ugh.
All right. This is DMPC shoots down every idea PCs have for invading a castle. Turns out BBEG was apparently a moron.
Okay.
Yep. And this is I love when we have titles that are almost as long as the story.
It's like a
TLDR, DM invites us into her campaign, gives us grief about character design, wastes a session and a half of planning by having her DMPC veto every idea, and then ends the game.
What a story.
Right? So here's a little campaign the wife and I joined about 20 years ago. So we're going back. We were invited by a friend of a friend we all knew through gaming to join her homebrew rules and world. Now I hear you.
I hear specifically Jim cringing.
Yes. Now I hear you cringing, but honestly, the rules were good. It was a point-based system that had good flexibility and decent balance. And after reading them, I was impressed. So we found out that every other player went with a caster/martial mix of points. So I went pure martial and the wife went pure caster. We go for character making and she promptly chews us out for being disrespectful and late. WTF, 2 question marks. Oh, she had forgotten about daylight savings. She was an hour off. Okay, great
cool.
start. All right. Nothing to do with the game, but it does set a character precedent.
Just immediately put off. I'm already annoyed. Be like, okay,
right.
Fine. Guess what I'm going to do to you.
It was an ongoing game that we came into. Now, there's going to be a time where, like, saying this was 20 years ago and talking about daylight savings time, they'll be like, wow, that was a long time ago. They were doing daylight savings time. Because I think we're stopping that next year.
I'm desperate for them to stop doing it to me.
Yeah. Listen, it's nice out now. So it was an ongoing game that we came into. First session, we find we are hunting the BBEG's minions to find his hidden castle. Okay, standard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We smoke the minions, find out the hiding place, and that ends the session. She has a DMPC, but that was because they only had 3 other players before us. Okay, I guess. And I think that is okay.
Yeah.
Especially if you need to balance it out with, if they are caster martial mix, so maybe
but also,
they just need to balance
sometimes
out
the DM also wants to participate in party shenanigans. They don't just
totally
want to counteract them.
I'm not against DMPCs.
Okay, just double checking, just making sure.
Second session we're in. We polish off patrols of minions and find the castle. We are now halfway through the session. We start planning how 6 people can get past the small army, enter the castle, find the big bad and his LTs, or it might just be lieutenants? I don't know.
Probably lieutenants.
Yeah.
Or lieutenants if you're British.
I'm not.
Okay. I beg the listeners, fuck you.
find the big bad and his lieutenants, and smoke them all. Every idea we have, her DMPC has a counter argument. Session ends. Cue the between time. We get a call from her telling us that the other players aren't happy we're more powerful than they are. We're not. She started us with lower points, but we specialized and they generalized. So she tells us not to spend any more points in our specializations. Whatever.
That's your problem,
right?
madam.
Right. It sounds like it's not as balanced as you thought it was.
Yeah.
Cue the next session. The clever planning continues, and by that I mean her DMPC spends 3 hours shooting down every idea we have. We have now spent 5 hours on planning and have gotten nowhere.
That's literally awful.
It's insane. Something happened, though I forget what. Suddenly the drawbridge opens and the big bad comes out and challenges us to a group combat. So we walk by the army, we walk past the moat that describes down to the feet of depth and distance. We get on the bridge, we beat the hell out of the bad guys, and that was the end of the campaign.
What? What?
So we get invited in with 3 sessions left, aren't told that, gives us grief about spending XP when there wasn't going to be another session anyway, and wastes half the time telling us what won't work, and then serves the big bad up on a platter. The end.
Boring. I'm bored. Honestly, after you spent 2 hours the week before and 3 hours the next week planning and being told, that's not going to work. Okay then, DMPC, what do you think will work?
Right.
Tell me, lay it on me if you're so fucking smart. That's, I'm annoyed. I'm agitated. If I was at that table, I would have been like, are you fucking with me? That's it? That's the end? That was easier than the fight we had 2 sessions ago.
Well, I have a theory about that. But a DMPC, like, should not be even participating in planning.
No. They should just go with the flow.
Unless the character is about to get themselves killed. But, like, obviously a DMPC has information that they shouldn't have because it's in the same brain as the DM. So, like, they shouldn't be participating in that. I've done DMPCs like 2 or 3 times just, you know, because we had a low player count. And one of them was a mystery. And I'm like, obviously this DMPC will not be participating in figuring out the mystery.
What do you use your DMPCs for? Because in campaigns that I'm in, they're mostly used to be like, if we're kind of floundering to figure out what we should do next, they'll drop us. They're like a little quest marker.
Yeah. So,
and for roleplay.
Yeah. So a couple different things that I've used them for. Most commonly, if we have a low player count. Mm-hmm. I had one recently where, so long story short, I ended up with just 2 players.
Okay.
Went from just 2 players to 0 back to 2. And you know, we're all there. I had all my stuff set up, so I throw in a DMPC and we have a 3-person party, which is like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
For being able to play most of these games. So I had DMPC for that. And the other time I ever did it was players came by with their characters pre-made. They had not consulted each other about it, and there was like no semblance of any sort of healing whatsoever.
Oh no.
And it's just like a lot of like frontliners that are definitely going to get killed.
Yeah.
So I had a DMPC in there, not only to have like a little bit of healing, not going to like, you know, be responsible for keeping them alive, but just like, you know, someone gets down, someone's got a healing word.
Yeah.
And I also used that one as the hook.
Okay.
There was because we kept doing these same one shots like every week, so I was like kind of tying them a little bit together. So it was the same like quest giver benefactor.
I love a short story collection, to be honest.
Yeah, that's kind of what it was. And she started off as being like this queen, and then got downgraded to like mayor. But still thinks herself like regal, but her office is a mess. We've been having fun with that one, but the dwarf that I gave them, like, then we just kept making it so that it was his sister that kept getting lost. You had to keep saving her over and over again.
Familiar.
She's a fledgling level 1 druid. She's trying her best.
Is she getting kidnapped by a turtle?
No, she's awfully trying to learn druid stuff, but keeps running out of spell slots.
Ah, I see. That is a problem. Which
is also why she can't help in combat. Anyway, so yes, the DMPCs absolutely have a role. Now, having a DMPC to flesh out a 4-person party is fine, and then 2 more people join. Now you got to decide how important to the story is your DMPC. So should that DMPC should have still been participating? Maybe should have been like taking a step back and let the 2 new players participate more. But all that coming around to say, like being like shooting down players' ideas over and over and over again for 5 hours.
If it's like for like 10 or 15 minutes, annoying, but whatever. But for literal hours.
If the players have the stupidest idea you ever heard, have your DMPC say, that's the stupidest idea I ever heard.
Yeah. But they can still run with it if they want to.
Yeah. And like, obviously tell the players why, and it should be information they already have. So like, hey, that's not going to work because remember we saw this. And like, it's a very different thing when like the only person at the table with any sort of inside information is like forcing the players to figure out what is apparently a very difficult puzzle because it took 5 hours by sheer process of elimination.
But then it couldn't have been because they just walked past everything because the big bad evil guy challenged them to one-on-one combat.
Well, she probably got as bored as everyone else did. So they just, all the obstacles that, the army, the moat that she described in like how deep it was, like obviously that was supposed to be a thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm still annoyed with them reaching out between sessions to be like, the other players are upset that you're too OP.
You're too optimized.
That was the point for the DM to be like, you guys could have specialized in something instead of spreading yourself thin over every category.
Yep.
Why aren't you happy that you have somebody that's so strong on your fucking team? I'd be over the fucking moon.
But, it was their time.
Yeah.
So, I think I already pointed it out, but they said it was a point-based system that had good flexibility and decent balance. I think we proved that the test showed that was a lie.
I mean, it could have been, and the other players still could have been annoyed about it.
Yeah, or being balanced and flexible doesn't mean that the players are going about it the right way.
Yeah.
They probably just built bad characters. Sucks to suck.
Yeah. Agree.
So my other theory was that for whatever combination of reasons, people were just getting sick of this game. And she's like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to skip all this stuff that I had here, go straight to the big bad. Let's wrap this thing up.
I mean, can you imagine how like disheartening it would be to get 5 hours of coming up with ideas and somebody being like, no.
Yep.
Nah. Like, imagine at your job, you're coming up with all of these ideas for marketing or for, like, sound engineering stuff, whatever, and the client's just for every last one of them, nah, I don't think so. Nah, I don't like that. And then you get to the end part, and it's like, you could have done this yourself.
Yep. And then they just skip it all and just play Unplugged.
Violent.
Yeah. Now, I was thinking this sounds like every night when we're trying to decide what to have for dinner.
That's a different problem.
But it sounds like the game wasn't that great, and that you only wasted 2 sessions on it.
Yeah,
so,
congratulations, you escaped.
Yeah, you got out of it. Yeah, you win.
And
Good
that's
job,
why
Steel Geek 2.
That's why Steel Geek 2 is the best of the best.
Yep. And the game's over, so there is no Steel Geek 3.
Perfect. You survived. They stopped beating that dead horse.
We did it, everyone. All right. We do stories like this all the time. Go to curmudgeonsanddragons.com, and under episodes, you can click on RPG horror stories and find like there's at least 50 of these, or close to it, I think. So, and with this being episode 106, it's just about half. There's a lot of them. And
in case you can't tell, we love to do them.
A, I love doing them. B, they're super easy to make, which is great for me.
Yeah.
But
I just have to sit here and be mouthy. It's great for me too.
Yeah, it's great. But That's all I got for today. Josey, thank you so much for joining me.
Anytime.
You can get back to your homework now.
Okay.
All
I'm
right.
delighted.
Thank you, adventurers.
All right. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to Curmudgeons and Dragons. Please share this with your favorite adventurers and leave a review. If you have a tale we should tell, please send it to us at curmudgeonsanddragons.com/contact for consideration. You are now out of initiative.